Yo, audio testing, audio testing. Sup, audio test. Yo, audio testing, audio testing. Alright, finally. Audio test. Finally. Alright, finally. Do I actually finally have decent audio? Holy. Do I actually finally have decent audio? Holy. Alright, sounds good. Okay. What is up? Path of Terraria is finally having an update on April 24th. It's gonna be big. So this is the first major update since the release, which happened in August of last year or something like that. Or was it July? I can't remember. It was, yeah, last summer, basically. And this one is gonna be called Conflux League. Pretty hyped. Seems like they're doing a ton of changes. We're gonna go over it. They just dropped the patch notes earlier today in the Discord. If you're not following that, you can head to the website and probably find, or you can go here and there's a Discord thing here. So you can get on that. But they'll post spoilers and stuff every day. We can look at some of those later. But they posted the patch notes, which is huge, and obviously it's not final because there's still like few more like a week or so left. So I'm sure there might be a couple changes, but I haven't looked through it. I've just looked through this list here, so we'll kind of look through it. And then they've also done on this. They've done a kind of redesign of their website too. Looks pretty nice. Yeah, so this kind of gives it a little bit of an idea of like what the mod's about, that kind of thing. Just looks better than before, right? And then the wiki is where we are now, right on that one. And then they've got tools, and they've got a planner. So you can check this planner out because here, can you not zoom out? Oh, you can. Is the new passive tree that they've updated. Because before it was quite small. It was like a it's more of like a passive branch, Obviously, it was new mod and all that, but it's definitely getting there now. It's starting to look a little bit more like a PoE style tree, which is sick. So yeah, we'll get to that. But yeah, I just want to go over it. I just want to kind of talk about it because I'm definitely gonna be playing it day one. They've got a leaderboard. Last time I mean, I had a lot of issues with the update or the first release, and I ended up not playing much after the first few days. But for the first like day or two, it was a lot of fun to just like push the leaderboard and do all that. Um, yeah, so I'm definitely gonna kind of probably get some practice in and like check out, just refresh on like the quest lines and that kind of thing, so I know what I'm doing when the update drops. But yeah, hopefully they fixed some stuff and made it a lot better. So let's just kind of get into it. So this is kind of the general idea of what the uh, what the league's going to be about. So President Conflux League, basically, uh, I don't know what they mean by lean into elemental damage, like um, furthering content. Yeah, okay. So they're basically just they're adding chaos damage, right? Like PoE. So now there's fire, cold, lightning, chaos. Presumably they're gonna add resistance to that too, and that kind of thing. Yeah, more information below. Yeah, so there's gonna be rifts. I think it's gonna be like a breach kind of a thing, maybe. Um, yeah. So you clear rifts, kill mobs. There's a stability meter. Yeah, it's literally just breach, PoE breach. Um, right. And you get more rewards, higher stability. So this is interesting too. Yeah, I think it's basically just breach, like 2.0 breach from PoE. They came out with keepers. It's kind of the same, right? You have a bar basically you fill up, right? And I mean, same with normal breach too. There's just a visible bar, and then they kind of progress as you kill more stuff. But you can still get rewards even if you don't like stabilize it. I'm guessing like completely, right? Or maybe there isn't like a stability point. Maybe just infinitely like the bar goes up as much as you can kill as fast as you can. I'm not sure. Don't want to spoil too much. Yeah. So there's new bosses. Four new bosses. I don't know. I'm assuming these are like mod exclusive because as far as I know, they've had all vanilla bosses and then one or two new ones. So yeah, one okay, one implemented on release, more coming after. So there might be a patch, right? They're gonna have domains. This is kind of my biggest issue with the mod right now. Is the domains for the bosses are just they're just not fun. I'm gonna say they're just not fun. Um, like they're it's such a chore to like navigate these basically like parkour mazes and stuff just to kill the boss, right? It's not interesting. It's not really fun. Just kind of delays you killing the boss and makes it more annoying. Especially stuff like the Skeletron and the Deer Clops fights, like those were super annoying. Um, yeah, so hopefully that gets fixed. Um, yeah, 10 new enemy types. Yeah, map. Yeah, Rift. That's what we're talking about before. New unique items is big. I think before. Again, I mean, I didn't really play much of the first one because I felt like the first release, it was it was just like a taste test, kind of what to expect in the future. But this really feels like a substantial mod now. I think with this update, so I'm hoping to play more of it. But if it seemed like before that there weren't many unique items that were very impactful, so hopefully there's some good ones. Yeah, new map device interface. You can kind of see it here. So before it didn't used to have like these fancy animations and it looks like you've got a little device like inventory, and then obviously some stuff down here like void stones or something. I'm not sure. And then yeah, so it's like a whole little cool interface that they've added, presumably with more ways to modify your maps or juice them or whatever. Uh, yeah, progress deeper into maps, amount of rifts to encounter will increase. Okay, so there's like these rifts and stuff, and then I don't know if they have any good. I think they have some screenshots on the Discord, but so you guys you can check those out if you want. Um, let's see here maybe. They don't, just info. We can check that out later. Um, but yeah, on the Discord there's a image. Copy image link. Yeah, here it is. Here it is. So yeah, they've got this. This is kind of the teaser, I guess. So you got these like breaches and stuff, and then the mobs come out, right? Like the rifts. Um, this is a new mob, I think. I've never seen it before. It's a modded enemy for sure, but I don't know if it's new in the context of the mod. Um, or maybe there's summons because it looks like he's attacking this thing. I don't know. It's kind of hard to tell. I don't really see where the player is, so not sure. But it does kind of look like he attacked this eater and he just died. So yeah, or maybe this is spawning in. It's hard to tell. Um, but yeah, I don't know if it's nighttime only, but yeah, the screenshots nighttime. They seem pretty visible, so yeah, you'll probably just encounter them. I don't know if you have to interact with something to actually like open it or whatnot, or you can just forego it altogether. I'm not sure. I'm sure there's more info. Might as well just keep reading. Um, yeah, therefore increasing rewards. So you have more rifts, right? Because in this one there's two of them, so you probably have a bunch of them at once, right? Um, yeah. So these are not. So that's kind of like the league mechanic, right? It's these rifts and stuff, and these new uniques, new enemies, new bosses. And this is just kind of the general like base game changes. So they're adding a class system, right? Four classes: mage, summoner, melee, range, right? Basically, Terraria classes, but basically you have to choose your class on character creation. I don't know if this means you create your character, you load into the world, then you choose, or they somehow made it so you select it in the character creator. I don't know. So only fundamental thing you cannot change. So you cannot change your class, which makes sense, right? I mean, um, probably a lot. Yeah, it makes sense, right? I think it's nice to have a meaningful choice there too, right? So you can. It feels more like an RPG. You pick a class. You kind of have. I mean, it doesn't restrict you like I think it talks about, right? In terms of what you can actually do, but it just dictates a few things. Let's see. It says the core changes. Uh, yeah, so they're basically changing it because there's some things that they want to implement that'll be too hard or complicated for users, I guess, or confusing, right? Without the class system, right? So there's a new passive tree which we have here. Let's go back to the planner, right? And then there's going to be these start points. So here's I guess it just depends on what class, right? So there's no indication here, but I'm assuming like here, I'm assuming this melee because there's strength. Maybe ranged, magic, maybe summoner or something. Yeah. Okay. So let's see. Previously there was one starting point, yeah, but with the new tree, each class will have a slightly different starting point, basically on the tree, and there will be travel nodes. I mean, you can see them here. I'm just gonna close this. I don't need that. There's gonna be, you could theoretically start here, path all the way, right, if you wanted to. So yeah, there's always an option to do that. Future systems regarding any class specific designs. Yeah, so they might implement subclass archetypes like ascendancies or whatever, some kind of additional class job system, right? Quest lines tied to classes. Yeah, basically just establishing like some kind of class identity, distinct foundations, right? Meaningful progress, kind of, and more kind of obvious play styles and that kind of thing, right? I think it makes sense. And like Terraria basically already has this anyway. You kind of have to pick a class. It's not explicit, but like if you build out your class, you got to use the accessories and the gear and the weapons, right, that are associated with your class. Otherwise, you're just not going to do damage, right? Um, Obviously, there's some funky things you can do with base game Terraria. Sometimes there's some like unique builds and stuff and combos of armor sets and various things, and you can use multiple weapons, and you can still do that here. But I think it's just a matter of you know they want the design space, right, to do that kind of stuff, which is cool. Skill system has been overhauled. There's certain elemental skills or elements of skills are being involved with the new class system, right? So if you start as mage, you get fireball, right? If you start as ranger, you start with rain of arrows. Um, and then I guess there's a new, but I don't know if they're doing this to just say if we want a new tier of skill to be unlocked as a specific quest line, like Wall of Flesh, they can make that happen, right? Or like on a per class basis. But as it says here, all skills can still be used by every class, right? What matters is primarily weapon type, right? So weapon type, just like PoE, dictates the skills you use. Um, if you want to try out skills, right, on mage, it's doable, right? Skills will be purchasable, right, from NPCs. So yeah, it's basically gonna be like you know, Lily Roth or something. It'll be just be an NPC, right, that can sell you the skills of your non-class type, right? So you have access to them and you can do builds and stuff with them. It's just that you get free access, right? And instant access to the class specific skills, right? So you don't have to go out your way to get them or anything. Makes sense. Each class will have its own identity, starting point, and natural progression path. I'm assuming by progression path they're talking about quest lines, like slight variations in quest line, right? Because before, if you wanted to get a grimoire, there was a quest line there. If you wanted to get like, there's a quest line for like every like weapon type, right? So maybe there'll be something similar for classes. And then of course the skills, right? So maybe you beat Wall of Flesh, you get a new skill automatically for your class. Future updates, yeah. So this is for future updates, right? So maybe the quest lines thing is not part of this update. Yeah, subclasses obviously not in yet. Those will feel more cohesive, reflect strengths of their archetype. Yeah. this will be nice, I think, right? You can kind of be like, this is my build, right? Instead of being like your build is kind of just the passive nodes you take and the weapon you're using, and there's no like identity to it. Which I mean, I don't necessarily think is inherently bad that there's no clear archetypes, but I think it does make for better. I mean, it's just more intuitive, right? If there's archetypes, and I think it's easier to approach, and also like people can advertise like, "Yo, I'm playing this build. Here's how you play it. Here's how you build it." It's more easy to communicate between players and stuff like that too. Balance will be easier, fine tune. Yeah. So obviously before there's some silly stuff you could do, right? And there's a lot of generic power that you could get uh, on the tree, and it just kind of applied to everything, and it wasn't the most balanceable because then you have to think about every single interaction with every weapon type, every skill, right? So maybe here they'll be able to like pare that down a little bit. Uh, yeah, you're not locked out of using skills or weapons, right? Hybrid are still viable, just you have to be a little bit more intentional with it, right? Yeah. Okay. They're just explaining their reasoning. Makes sense. So redesign passive tree. Passive tree has been redesigned from the ground up. Hundreds of choices. So there's some interesting things. This is as far as I got. There's a ton more stuff down here that we're gonna get to, but there's a lot of interesting things here. So obviously, this is basically just a list of minor passives added, right? Uh, which is pretty interesting. They kind of just give you an idea. Obviously, they have the tree here, so we can actually look and look at this, like points, right? You get masteries. I think they explain these masteries too in there. I remember seeing that. Or maybe that was on a Discord post. I can't remember. So it's kind of interesting because you got these clusters and then you got a mastery, right? Instead of like a notable. So I think that's what it looks like anyway, which is kind of cool. It kind of makes it so they don't need to make the tree so ridiculous, right? Um, but they offer some like specialization or customizability. Uh, so yeah, we'll look at that later. But yeah, so basically just res nodes, damage nodes, right? Proj count, proj speed. That's interesting. Probably get some pretty crazy builds with that. I'm assuming because it's generic proj, it applies to magic and ranged and even melee proj. Maybe I don't know. Mana stuff, damage while channeling. Okay. Yeah, reduced mana cost of weapons. Whip stuff. Whips could be cool. I mean, you get AOE, attack speed, damage, reach, range, I guess, right? This is kind of interesting. Crit chance for tag minions. I don't remember. I didn't. I don't play minions really. Or summoner in Terraria. Even base game Terraria. I don't really play it that much. I played like once or twice. Um, but this sounds pretty good because base Terraria actually doesn't allow minions to crit, right? With the tag system, so this could be pretty powerful. If your minions can actually crit, right? Which is kind of nuts. And then there's also whip tag critical chance. So I don't know if this means like your whip chance or like when you tag something, it's like I don't know. This is a weird one. Is that like minion crit or is that your whip crit? I don't know. And then their charges, right? It's basically like endurance, frenzy, you know, kind of thing. Power charges, but they call them Aegis, haste, focus, or Aegis, whatever. Um, yeah. So haste provides prod speed bonus, just interesting. Focus is damage, so okay, yeah, and then max health. So yeah, I guess unless you're doing some really niche build, maybe there's some prod speed scaling build that you can run where you can scale damage with prod speed or something like a spark type build that just gets insanely strong with prod speed, then yeah, you're probably just going to be looking at just these two, right? Charges, just based on that. Max health could be good because, I mean, Terraria is a lot about just Unless they've changed. I mean, there is, obviously res and stuff now, so you want to get that going. But obviously, max hit pool is always good, right? Um, and then this is just straight up damage, just kind of crazy. I would have expected it to be like crit or something, but yeah, okay. Um, ammo stuff, prod stuff, yo-yo stuff, cool. Um, this is interesting here. I mean, there's some life stuff, explosion stuff could be interesting. I'm assuming they mean stuff like rocket launchers, bombs, various like grenades, stuff like that. Which could be cool. Nice AoE options. Um, yeah, damage increases, right? And then you get increased damage multipliers, right? So I'm guessing this is like increased more kind of thing. So you want to stack both of them, obviously. Now, what is interesting is that they have increased chaos, but no increased damage multiplier for chaos, which I don't know. I don't know. That could be bad, depending on the other scaling vectors for chaos damage and also the enemies and stuff and what kind of resistance they have. Like in PoE, for example, not many things have chaos res, so it's inherently just strong, right? And then the options for like chaos res reduction are just like straight up. That's what they are. They're res reduction. They're not like pen, right? It's a little different. So it's just straight up more damage you're getting from those things. So if it's like that, then maybe chaos is still viable. But if there's just straight up no multipliers for the chaos damage, then that could be a little rough. Um, yeah, ailment stuff, conversion stuff could be interesting. I wonder how they deal with conversion. Is it like when does the conversion happen? Because what you could do is you could like scale something like lightning damage and then convert it all to chaos, right? And then you maybe still get, depending on when the conversion happens, whether it's after these multipliers or before, right? You could take advantage of them. Cooldown, minion stuff. I mean, yeah, you can look. It's pretty good. There's a lot of minion stuff actually. Um, Pretty strong, but I don't really using that. Yeah, and then they have specific grimoire stuff because the grimoires are what allow you to summon minions, I believe. So that's interesting that you get minions might be insane because if you get like if this all stacks together, like I don't exactly know. I guess you can do stuff with the grimoire that's not just the minion. Maybe I'm not sure. I haven't really played with it, so fishing power. This is kind of interesting too. So there's is this on the tree? I guess we'll have a look. But there's fishing power, magic find, um, yeah, item drop stuff like magic find stuff on the tree or whatever. And then there's stuff like object placement speed, placement range, mining speed. Like, is this stuff on the tree? It's kind of interesting. I feel like it would almost benefit them to have like an Atlas style tree where they have all that on there, right? MF and uh, other like QOL kind of stats. Because I don't see. I mean, it depends on the point spread, right? How many points you get and like whether or not you can sacrifice your build and your damage for stuff like this, right? Obviously, skill damage, skill duration is good, right? If you're going a skill based build. But I'm talking about like this niche stuff. This is kind of whack, but okay. I guess you can stack because there was a more ammo conservation up there too, so probably get it to where you're barely ever consuming ammo. Um, yeah, ailment stuff, poison stuff. This is interesting. So not you can scale duration damage and like faster poison damage, right? So we'll have to look at the specific nodes and stuff to see if these are all stackable or if you have to like sacrifice duration for a tick rate or what you know what I mean. But that could be pretty strong. It also depends on the yeah. I feel like dot is really tricky to balance and make feel good. So we'll see how that works, but could be good. Okay, self damage from explosives. I guess that's just nice QOL. Um, Increased damage while staying still could be good for like kind of tank stuff. Uh, yeah, bleed stuff. Okay, so you can do the same stuff with bleed, right? I didn't. There is ignite, but it. I don't. I mean, they didn't mention this kind of stuff for ignite, so who knows? I'm not sure if ignite does something different in this game. Forgot honestly. I'm sure. I'm assuming it's just the on fire debuff type thing, but yeah. So bleed could be really strong too. Uh, I wonder if they've kind of like split the poison damage towards like the dex, ranger kind of play style versus bleed melee, you know, or maybe you can do both on or like one or the other. This could be kind of crazy. It's just life on hit on kill, life on kill. Okay, well that's whatever. But it's max percentage of max health, which is pretty good. This is kind of funky too. Increase sell price, reduce shop price. Interesting. And then oh yeah, here's the mastery thing. So masteries that add to the passive tree. Every cluster contains a mastery passive that offers a choice between 2 to 3 often build-defining passives. Um, Mixing combinations of masteries encourages synergies, offering players tools to design. Yeah. Okay. You can see your custom passive tree editor here, which is they haven't linked it for some reason, but it's here. To get to this, I put the link in the thing, but yeah, you just go to the pathoterraria.com/tools and select the passive tree thing. So I think so. Here's like a mastery, right? So if we're starting from melee, I'm guessing you can kind of we'll have to figure out how this type panel. So can you like path towards these, or like maybe shift click? No, you can't. It doesn't auto path, I guess, but can you not choose? I guess you can see what the mastery do here. So it's like this one is 5% chance for knockback and damage, crit damage, and why did I say but? Oh, minus. Oh, interesting. Okay. I mean, that's a lot of crit damage. So, uh, this is kind of funky. I wonder. I wonder if you can scale this kind of nutty. That's kind of funny. Like, does this stack? It says max 1 stack. So, I wonder if there's other ways to get this up. That would be funny though. Okay. Well, we'll check it later. But I wonder how you swap class. Okay, melee here. Level, extra, spend. Hide panel, show panel. Okay. Okay, so it shows you. I don't know. We'll play with this later, I guess. But yeah, so that's the mastery. So basically, like instead of having notables like PoE or a lot of other games, right? They have masteries. I mean, PoE has masteries too, but it's like you have to get the notable, then the mastery. It's a little different, right? It's basically customizable notables, which is really interesting. I think it's a kind of a cool little twist on it, right? But I mean, they do have notables actually, because here's a notable. Really interesting placement. I wonder if this is exact because why would you ever? Oh, interesting. So even the small nodes are pretty strong then, because this gives you +1 max charge, right? Which is, but then here's like a notable, I guess. Huh. I don't know. Maybe their terminology is a little different. I'm not sure. Yeah, because you do have notables here, and then this is just like a attribute node, minor node, right? And then masteries and stuff. Okay, we'll just have to look at that later. Yeah, so here's just a general mastery sheet, right, that you can look at. Range damage masteries. Well, wait, what does it say here? It says current passive data appears to have this cluster's third choice miswired. Okay. Currently points at whip reach in data. Okay. Okay. I can still fix that. Melee stuff. Regen, basically bleed. Okay, bleed is melee, yo-yo, uh, defense, stuff like that. I guess are the masteries the same? No. Are they all unique? I think so. So they are. They're. It's not like every melee mastery has the same options, right? Bloodbender. Let's see. Yeah. So even this bleed one, or is this? No, this is the life, and this one's bleed. Wherever it was. Okay. Yeah. So they're unique, I guess. Okay. Cool. Um. Well, I guess they have like different, right? They have different masteries, but they don't overlap. There's no like. It doesn't look like there's two like yo-yo masteries or like two like lead masteries. I don't think. Okay. Yeah. So there's all those. Let's see. Utility nodes, item rarity mastery. Okay. Wait. Summoner. Okay. Summoner ends there. Yeah. Utility nodes. 50% increase for each boss killed. Increase magic bond by 0.05. At least once, I guess. Wait. At least once. Like, does could you just infinitely stack this? There's no way. That would be kind of broken. Or maybe like surely it only counts once, like one, like first boss kill basically. I'm already master. Where is that? There's no search function. It says no. Splinters use the copied passive JSON, passive icon set sort of repo. Oh, mastery hubs require their configured edge count. Where you can choose the mastery. One mastery. Only one mastery option can be active in a mastery slot at a time. Yeah, okay. Allocate nodes. Okay, nodes to see current totals. Okay. Um, I mean, we know max level is 100, right? So if we just put 100 in, I don't know what these extras are, but I wonder if you're at level 100, can you not just take the entire tree? Like, there's not that many nodes. Oh, okay. Anyway, we'll look at that later. Maybe we'll just assume like 50 or so. Yeah, so there's these movement mastery could be nice. Perma feather fall is good, and increased jump height, that's pretty huge. 60% move speed out of combat, pretty good. So this one is actually good. Even for combat and stuff, this one's really strong. This is kind of sick. I like this idea. Like this like QOL utility nodes. I just don't know where they are on the tree. We'll have to look. Autonomy mastery. This is cool. This is also kind of cool. That's kind of interesting. This is minor damage. I wonder if you can scale this. That'd be kind of funny. Just use like a mana flower. Just spam. Can you do that? Do they have mana flower in the game? I don't actually know. Maybe they don't. Because it's like completely different from base game, right? They don't necessarily have all the same base game items. But that'd be kind of funny. Skill duration. That one's good. Okay, this is interesting. There's like overflow on HP. It's pretty strong. Honestly, it's probably you even if you're not like a skill build, just having a skill and using this is gonna be really strong, I think, for survivability. Because it's just like a free 8% increased HP, right? Um, yeah. So it'll be like a mini shield almost. In this newly released, he wants to introduce the future of what our elemental damage looks like. Allowing you to invest, yeah, yeah. Okay, never heard of possible scaling for each of these elemental types, or all three should become possible to further enhance your character. Okay, so they're excluding chaos from this. Wait, but then they're talking about chaos here because they say three, but then there's four with chaos. Items and damage for vanilla items. Okay, so the vanilla items that are available are going to gain this kind of elemental scaling. Change elemental affixes to be exclusive to weapons. I wonder. Okay, so I guess before you could get elemental damage affixes on all gear, but now it's just weapons and maybe offhands. Okay. Uh, all ailments reworked. High damage fire dot, right? Scales with your damage. Okay, so it's like PoE 2, PoE 2. Guaranteed on crit. Okay, that's pretty. Yeah, so yeah, I mean then you just scale crit and this might actually be really strong. It's just awkward when you attach dot scaling to player damage, right? Instead of separating it as like a like a DOT multiplier or something. Because then it's like, what's the point of the dot if you're gonna kill something already with like your base damage, right? Like, one can be active on a target by default. Okay, so maybe you can increase the ignite amount, like count or whatever. Any fire damage critical can inflict ignite. So it says guaranteed on crit, but I'm assuming you don't need a crit. Maybe. Any fire damage critical. So this is like magic damage, range damage, anything, right? Shock, okay, it's just PoE. This is just shock is broken then. Um yeah. Shield, same as PoE. Uh so this is not tied to crit though. Any lightning damage can shock. Any fire damage critical can inflict ignite. So can non-crits not inflict ignite? Oh, that's kind of strange. Interesting. Your hit strength. By strength, do they mean damage or do they mean actual like strength stat or whatever? And shock effectiveness will scale this multiplier. So yeah, there's shock effect and I guess damage. I guess is what they mean is damage. So it's basically just PoE 2 or PoE 1 and 2. This is like PoE 2 though, I think. More so. Anyway, okay, there's freeze. Yeah, freeze in place. Duration scales damage. Max enemy HP. Okay. I guess that's like a. And then freeze duration was, yeah. Any cold damage critical can inflict freeze. The freeze is only on crit as well. It doesn't seem too hard to get crit though. I don't. I mean, there's this mastery. Use crit damage. Oh, okay. So there's one of the utility nodes. So they are just on the tree like that. This is yo-yo stuff. So all these travel nodes are just strength. Interesting. Uh, Rage, whatever that does. Why does it go off the page? That's kind of annoying. I guess you can click it, see it. Um, that's a fishing one. Is it? I think it is. I didn't really check. Yeah. No mining. Um, yeah. So like stuff like that. Like this is right here, right? Critical overload. It's just like it's kind of like Oracle a little bit. Critical overload. You basically just gain crit until you crit. So yeah, crit's not too hard to get, I think. Which is, I mean, before crit was really strong. Like I played with melee crit in the original release, and it was kind of nutty. Like just you just did so much damage. Because the thing about base game Terraria is that crit, obviously there's a few items that give like some crit benefits. Obviously there's reforged, you know prefixes that give crit chance and whatnot, like lucky and all this, and like weapon crit stuff, right? But you can't really scale your crit damage, or like there's no like on crit effects or anything. So I think it's kind of balanced around that. But then once you add all that, you can get some pretty nutty nutty damage. Let's see. Fixed shock multiplier not working for proj, so it works for proj. Yeah. Oh, here, wait. We skipped poison bleed. And infinitely stacking DOT. So this is like PoE one then. That deals steady ramping chaos damage over time. Chaos damage does not inflict poison by default. Specific skills, weapons can allow poison infliction. Okay. So it is like PoE then. Like chaos damage doesn't auto apply poison, but you need chaos, or poison does chaos damage. Um, High damage DOT with limited stacking deals more damage to moving enemies. Okay, so it's like PoE. Encourages aggressive playstyle to keep stacks up due to quick debuff drop off rates. This affix can roll on melee and ranged weapons by default. Okay, so bleed is kind of limited to non-magic, non-summoner stuff. Interesting. Poison doesn't seem to be limited though. Infinite stacking DOT. I mean, that doesn't. Yeah. I mean, obviously, it probably has like a longer ramp up. You know, probably less upfront damage, that kind of thing, right? I don't know. Dots are always a little funky. I wonder if they have any like prolif or anything like that though, because I think that would be really strong. That would make them actually worth playing, I think. Um, let's see. Chance to apply bleed on hit, increase max bleed stack, so you can increase. So even though it's limited stacking, you can increase stack amount. Um, More damage used for bleed. Huh? Item affixes that can roll. This is weird. So does bleed work the same way as like ignite, for example? It's based on your own damage. It doesn't actually, because like this one says scales with your damage, right? And I'm assuming they mean, damage on hit, right? Like your hit damage. When you hit a mob, the damage that you do factors into the ignite, presumably. They don't say that for bleed or poison. Poison, obviously, I don't know. Maybe poison doesn't work that way because you just stack up the poison and then you scale like poison damage and stuff, and then bleed damage, because that's what I mean. Yeah, that would make sense actually, because if we go back up here, right, there is this kind of stuff, right, for poison and bleed, but not ignite. So maybe ignite is the one that scales with your hit damage, and then bleed and poison by default don't, right? But then this is kind of contradictory to that, right? This idea, more damage used for bleed, because what do they mean used? Like they're using a portion of your damage for the bleed, which means it would scale like ignite does with your hit damage. But I don't know. We'll have to see. Frozen effect for NPCs, shader and peripherals. Okay. Oh, okay. This is affix rolls made. Yeah. Okay. Minor issues. Full damage. Falling to a 0.2 convert multiplier. Okay. Healing on killing a burning enemy affix not applying for ignite. Okay. These are just bug fixes. Chaos mob affix. Conversion resistance items for chaos. Yeah. Placed on vanilla poison effects with a custom stacking poison, getting 4 chaos damage per stack. So that's what poison does. Just deals 4 damage per stack, and obviously you can scale that, right, with your increased poison damage. We go back up here real quick. You can see exactly you get duration, right? So your stacks will stay up longer. Now I'm assuming the way that poison, because it's infinitely stacking, is that it kind of treats the whole thing as one duration, right? So it's not like each stack has a duration because that wouldn't stack. That wouldn't work, right? Because then they would fall off, and then you would never be able to stack a bunch of them, maybe. Or maybe it does work like that, and then when you apply a poison, it refreshes on everything. I don't know. But either way, you can scale the duration, you can scale the damage, the actual damage, and you can scale the tick rate as well. So it's 4 per tick, but potentially you can do like 10 ticks in 1 second. So you can scale it like that too, so it deals damage quite quickly. Whoops, we skipped. Stop mob affix icons from drawing weirdly. Okay, just a bug. Localization. So this is just okay. So any pre-existing vanilla poison effects will have this now. Rework tooltips to account for elemental damage. Damage numbers now have color based on element. Okay, cool. I think that's nice. I think a lot of games don't add this, like PoE for example, because it can get a little messy. But I think in Terraria it works. So yeah, that'll be nice just to visually at a glance see that. Um, change localizations for any flat to be added to stay consistent with flat being added bonuses. Okay. I'm assuming they're talking about like flat damage versus added damage, which is essentially the same thing because added damage is damage added to your flat, right? Something like that. I don't know. Yeah. Basically, like your flat damage includes any added damage, right? Okay. Like before multipliers and increases and whatnot. Uh, change resistance affixes to be only rollable on equipment. Okay. Yeah, so no more weapons with res. Yeah, Huey did this too. It's fine, I guess. This ensures weapons are mostly exclusive to damage utility affixes. I think it's nice because um maybe hopefully they accounted for this with their numbers on the rolls. So maybe like the res rolls on equipment are a little bit higher because you're not gonna have any res in your weapon. But maybe I mean you probably never wanted res in your weapon anyway. Um, it just kind of diluted the mod pool, so that's good. Enemy spawning system overhaul. Oh, the spawning seems to be a bit boring. Vanilla spawning is often one or two mobs at a time. This doesn't really fit with ARG yet. This new system implemented we're calling encounters. Encounters. Okay, so this is like packs and stuff. Uh, we turned on within your explorable and selected boss domain maps. It will not be present in the overworld. Okay, that's good. Because that'll be. I was thinking like that'll be insane on World Start, right? I think this is a micro dungeons randomly appear throughout your mapping system and trigger when coming within the radius of the encounter spawner. Okay. This one level spawns come from all directions in a set amount of mobs. Huh. I guess this is how they implement the rift system. Then, count the uh, mobs and their strength will be influenced by your map modifiers. Okay, cool. That's cool. That's a cool system. I think this mod is probably the most technically interesting mod I've ever seen it. Where like they do so many cool stuff like this just to get that feel, that RPG feel and style, right? The passive tree alone, the interactability with it, the way the quest system, the sub worlds, everything. Like they do so much on the technical side on the back end, which is really interesting that a lot of mods don't do. And I mean, there's room for it, right? It is trickier, and there's new tools that enable it, like the sub world stuff, right? Uh, but it's really cool. I mean, you don't see stuff like this, right? In other game, other mods, really. They don't need to be fair, other mods, so it's fine. Harbo cosine overall. Okay. Branching. Oh no, brand new hardware questline. Uh, 3 freshly designed NPCs. Stays consistent with all vanilla bosses. Yeah, having the thematic quest. Let's see. Every quest has unique dialogue, interesting quest steps, and will begin to reveal an overarching storyline. Okay, cool. Not that I'm gonna read it, but it's there if you want to. Okay, so hopefully this is better than the previous quest. I didn't really get too far into the whole mapping thing because I don't know. I feel like the pre-hard mode stuff is kind of a mess, but uh, okay, it's a new quest basically. Uh, okay, this is just kind of breaking down. We got a fish one, we got a mechanic one. Uh, yeah, we got the occultist quest line. Probably take a look at that later. It's more just like narrative stuff and progression. Uh, okay, so yeah, Fishron, Cultist, Mech Bosses, kind of a thing. Okay. Okay, skills. So here's skills, summoning skill, summons various insects, cool. If you care about that, you can look at that. What is this? So it summons these. Okay, interesting. I don't really care too much about that. Fireball. Oh yeah, so they have skills in this game, and the skills have trees. I forgot about that. Inferno. Okay, so these are these just the way they work, or are these part of the skill trees? I don't actually know. No, I think because this one just says new skill. This one says new skill tree. I don't know. Anyway, Inferno, right? So there's Fire Nova. Like I'm assuming these are all like skill tree things, or new skill tree Fireball, and then these are parts of the skill tree. I don't know. This the layout's a little confusing to be honest. Uh, so like within the Fireball skill tree, you can like spec into these skills, I guess. And then these are the small small nodes or something. I don't. Yeah, I don't know. I guess we'll find out. But yeah, I forgot about that. Skills do have like their own kind of trees to them and like modifiers that you can add and all that kind of stuff, which is pretty cool too. Kind of like a last epoch sort of system, but definitely not as complicated. Yeah, so these are definitely like skill like tree bonuses you can get for the skill, right? Because yeah, eggs hatch 0.1 second faster, right? That'll be like something you can select on the skill tree, right? Ignite from fireballs do more damage. Okay, cool. Frostfire. So this is like fire, frostfire, shadow flame kind of stuff. That's cool. Um, I wonder. Oh, chaos. Okay, yeah, I was gonna say. I wonder if this is chaos damage. Send your own power deals damage to yourself, but essentially increases chaos and fire. I wonder if it does like a weird mix. Flame frozen or chilled and ignite clears the debuff and causes a powerful explosion. Huh. Yeah, I wonder if they change like does Shadow Flame debuff do chaos damage? Or does it still do fire damage? Or like just I don't know, like what's the damage type on that? And do does skill damage like get affected? I'm assuming it gets affected by the passive tree. I don't actually I mean, why wouldn't it? I don't know. Virtual loop bag. Oh yeah, so this is like the loop filter solution they have. Oh, annoyance not having a loop filter. With how Terraria works, picking up a loot around you instead of click to loot system like other RPGs. We have come up with a solution. Yeah, so virtual loot bags kind of hold your stuff. When the virtual loot bag is enabled, all gear that is looted will go into the virtual bag. So that's pretty important to know, right? Gear, right? So I'm assuming this doesn't include like materials. The virtual bag included or open, yeah. So is open when you leave the map, right? So when you go to leave the map, it'll open. Virtual bag is cleared when map is left. Okay, so basically it's like while you're in the map, you pick up stuff, and you pick up the gear, and it'll go into this loot bag, right? And then when you try to leave, it'll open up, right? And presumably, you can kind of filter what you see in the loot bag or something. Let's see. Okay, so you can open it at any point. Config. Uh, yeah, yeah. Virtual bags open automatically. Confirm button. Confirm leave. Okay. Yeah, so you don't accidentally delete all your loot. Okay, you can right click it from bag into inventory. You can right click gear from inventory to bag. Okay. Yeah. Virtual bags basically limits. I'm sure you can exceed it. There's some like upper limit, but it's probably ridiculous. Beyond the original implementation, we'll explore being able to further filter loot. Okay, so they haven't done this yet. Finding your own loot filter system akin to last epoch. Okay. Where loot will just simply be put into a filtered section of this loot bag. So you can recheck filter to make sure you haven't missed anything important. Allow you to further tweak your loot filter settings. Cool. So I don't know if this is something that they're going to do this update or not. It's not clear because it says we will explore being able to further filter loot. But I think it's cool. It's a good solution, I think. So we'll see. We'll have to see how it plays, but it sounds good. Sounds good. It's not really something you think about until you leave the map, right? You basically run through the map, pick up all the stuff automatically. You don't think about it, and then like once you get to the end of the map, then you can kind of pull up the bag, and it'll have your stuff in there. You can kind of sort through it. Then you can filter it, whatever, right? Similar to the virtual loop bag, a currency pouch. Oh, okay. But available everywhere and for currency only. Instead of currency going to your inventory, I'm assuming by currency they mean like all the stuff that allows you to mod your gear, right? I forgot what the shards and stuff, right? Instead of currency going to your inventory, it'll get sorted directly into the pouch, which provides an easy place to use them from for crafting as well. Okay, cool. Some things to expect. Okay. All currency automatically goes to pouch. All currency has improved tool tipping, driving their use, or why so okay, cool. So if you're trying to use it on something that doesn't work, it'll tell you why. Um, Currency until or still be moved to inventory. Okay. Easier to use. Looks less likely to be misused, right? So I think they changed how you use these shards and stuff. You like pick them up and then you can like click on them while you're holding them instead of like however they did it before. I don't remember. Like right click and then I don't know. Okay, unreleased. The online mod will also directly reach into your pouch instead of requiring you to have the currency charge in inventory as well for further ease of use. Okay. Is this referring to trade? I'm assuming. Global chat. Okay. Uh, okay, cool. Global chat. Oh, okay. Supporter packs. Okay, that's kind of cool. That's cool. All right. Yes, if you want to support the game, do that. Don't really know what these packs, if they even have them, what they entail, but made some changes to how questing works in multiplayer. Okay. TLDR, you can now skip the boss fight if the world has marked said boss as complete already. Oh shoot! You can like speed run your friends and stuff up through this because you can just if all the bosses are already killed, and you can just like bring them up to speed real fast. That's cool. Okay, interesting. I wonder. I mean, there's bound to be bugs with this, right? This is the intended behavior, right? So yeah, I'm sure there'll be some issues. So if we look at this, player A starts a new world. Player A completes the prerequisite quest, right? Player A completes and enters and kills King's Line. Player A has completed King's Line quest. Player B logs on, same world, completes prerequisites, completes the quest. Okay, up to this quest, right? Is presented with a skip button on the quest step. Clicks it. Player B's completed quest. Okay, so basically you just need to do the prereqs now. And then once you get to the point where it says enter the domain, you can just skip that because it's already been done by the world. So basically the quests are like tied to the world now. Which is cool. Kind of helps if you're trying to get friends into it or whatnot, but you want to get them, you want to speed run them, or maybe you're trying to make an alt character and you have a friend who can like power level you or something, right? Or just like speed run you through the quests and stuff. That's cool. Um, Although I don't think it works. I think don't alt characters like share everything. I don't know. Anyway, um, an exploration map swamp. Swamps our first exploration map. Makes use of a new custom encounter system that will be found. Foundation. Okay, yeah. So this is the spawning system they were talking about earlier. Just to encounter random enemies. Spawning on screen, you will reach certain points of the map that will trigger an encounter. Yep. Which encounters? Just typo, maybe. Something hard as we did early. We won't divulge too much information on how this works. We encourage you to explore and find out what works best for you. Okay, so there's like some back end stuff where it's like, certain uh encounters encounters basically have like difficulty scaling and loot scaling, right? With them, right? And you can kind of maybe figure that out, and maybe map mods will affect this, right? It said so. You can probably mess with all that kind of stuff. Includes a new boss, several new enemies to face, includes new grabbing system for enemies. Huh. Okay. Swamp water. This is just like new custom biome basically, like within the context of a map. I don't know. I haven't played much of the end game of this mod yet because there really wasn't that much of one. But exploration map is, I'm assuming, different than like a boss domain. I'm assuming that's the distinction, right? Exploration map is just like a regular map, and the domains are like the boss maps and stuff. Okay, new items. Quiver offhand. Okay, there was no quiver before. There is now. Meant to be used with ranger class, right? Obviously, not exclusive, but that's the idea. Uh, Talisman for summoner. Okay. Okay. Money, natural core, caged core. Okay. Uh, barrel and fire diamond rings. Okay. These were like gear slots. So I guess they're just magic offhands. Oh, focuses. Okay. Okay. So these are like base types. New base types. I don't know what these cores are. In addition to 4 new unique items related to Conflux. Boros, Simulacra, Flea Bell, Prismatic Orb. Okay, so I'm assuming these drop. Maybe they drop from league specific content or boss or whatever. Yo-Yo inflicts poison. with a unique executing and suctioning alt use. Huh. Cool. So you could do a melee poison yo-yo build. Sounds cool. Might be a league start option. Simulacra, a bow spawns clones of itself, allowing you to fire duplicates of its projectiles from unique locations. That sounds kind of sick. Also really strong. Because that just means more bows. Bow clones mean like more proj from your bows, right? Like that sounds kind of insane. I'm assuming these are like end game uniques. Summon weapon response fleas with hard bells in their head, allowing them to slam their heads into enemies. Okay. Okay. I don't know. It's hard to gauge the power of this one, right? But these two sound really strong. Because this one has some like cull execute built in, some kind of CC built in, and poison, right? This one has obviously, I mean, this speaks for itself, right? Ground based magic weapon, which, okay. Element explosions as it bounces through enemies. Okay. It's kind of like a staff of earth sort of thing where I don't know how useful this will be then. If it's just ground based enemies, it'll be really awkward on flying enemies, which could be a problem. So, yeah. But these two look really good just on paper. Obviously, the numbers matter, right? But at first look, it sounds cool. We'll have to see about these. I don't know. Abominable, a large, relentless beast. Long range melee attacks by using dash accessory at the right time. Yeah. Cryo Stalker. Okay, so these are enemies. High class demons. I wonder what these. Is this just like flavor or like does that have any actual meaning? City adversary enemy. A wall mounted tile. Okay. Like a spider or something. Oh. Wait, what? Use either vanity or teleports all player. Oh. Okay. Interesting. Miscellaneous changes. The weapon and tool hotbar slots will now show full information hover tooltip instead of just item names when the hotbar is not locked. Okay. Ball of flesh or its bag now drop 3 unique items given by the Unleashed Chaos quest line. Okay. What do I says or its bag? Does that mean you can not get a bag maybe and just drops raw? Like, I guess if you're not in expert mode, but I thought you had to be in for this mod. I don't know. Whatever. Rebuild all the well-flushed mini arenas. Use the adversary tiles. Slight edits for safety and consistency. Okay. Morven. The path towards the Raven statue when nearby, making it easier to complete that. Is this talking about that intro quest? I don't actually know. Made the evil boss required for the wall push quest. Okay. Melee 7 damage affixes on the respective weapons. Yeah. Oh, certain implicits. Okay, so there's implicits on items now. Okay, cool. Icons. Cool. Uh, oh, okay. Light in the daytime affix remnants of like map, like Terra Prisma obtainment. But I'm assuming the condition's still the same, where you kill her. Uh, what is it? Without taking damage or something? or without dying. I don't remember. Um, okay, I don't know what that means, but maybe that's a quest thing. Loot drop from bosses in boss domain is now magnetized to the portal. So loot out reach should now be possible to get. Okay, cool. So if you're like fighting Eater and Eater of Worlds, and he just freaking dies in the wall, I guess it'll like magnetize the loot, so you can actually collect it. That's nice. Uh, okay. Quest markers. That's useful. Skills now tags. Okay. Easy to tell what will scale it. Cool. AoE fire. Okay. Cool, cool. Um, all right. Um, chance for summons to crit. Okay, yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah, so this will be nice. I'm assuming these were in the background anyway, basically, but it's just like a visual thing. Skill selection you have the hotbar. Seven shard. Huh. New currency type. Which removes a random affix from an item. Okay, annulment orb, I guess. Uh, did they not have that before? I guess not. Huh. Okay. Okay. All summoners can now crit by default. This also appears in the character stat sheet as well. Okay. Cool. That's gonna be really strong though, because part of the reason why they like disabled summons from being to crit is because it's kind of broken if they can. So, what to see how they balance that. That might be really strong though. If you're like a minion player, summons might be a little OP. Okay, fire whip, 100% fire damage. It is just some balancing things. I will say the organization of this is a little confusing. See, those are bug fixes, but some of these read like bug fixes, but they're just miscellaneous changes. Apparently, I don't know. Okay, okay, okay. Just mostly just QOL kind of changes. Some changes to how things work based on what they were talking about before. Reset points on passive tree. That's big. I wonder if it's free to use or something. I'm not sure. Assistance system for all summon minions, but not sentries. Okay. Really curious to see how that works. Maybe this is just to make sure that they persist through like subworlds and stuff. I'm not sure. Allows equipped gear to be hidden with middle click. Okay. Elemental map mods, but not chaos. Huh. Okay. So there's no like chaos damage map mod. Interesting. I wonder if they're gonna keep chaos similar to like PoE, where it's much harder to get stuff like chaos res, but then it's also like less common. I don't know. Like on enemies for enemies to have chaos res, chaos damage. I mean, here's new. Yep. Okay. So the town area is expanded. Bows are considered two-handed. They can only contain equipment offhand. Okay. Were they not before? It's like PoE, right? So they're two-handers, but you can have a quiver in your offhand. Uh, so I guess if there are any like two-handed weapon tags or anything, or things to scale two-handed damage or whatever, they'll apply to bows. But then you can also use a quiver. I don't know. I don't know how this impacts like roll ranges. I don't know how they deal with that, but could mean a bow buff, honestly. I mean, you get quivers now already. There's probably just gonna be huge buff to bows. Right-clicking weapon will now add your first inventory slot as your weapon. Okay. Okay, right, because they have like a weapon, like a left-right click thing for weapons if you played before. Okay, Discord support. Monster difficulty drastically reduced in the start of the world. Okay, this is big. It was it wasn't super hard on start. It was about normal, but I think for the progression of the mod, it was a little strange. Like the progression wasn't quite balanced. It's much smaller for rare magic monsters. Full breakdown here. Okay. It used to just be 2x across the board for life and damage. Okay. Okay. I see. I guess this is referring to the magic and rare monsters. I'm not sure. Look at the breakdown. It's nice. Seems like they've expanded this kind of wiki thing quite a bit. Um, okay. So here's kind of some mods, right? Uh, these aren't the only mods though, right? Right? Because they have like the LA damage mods and stuff, and like. Okay, so here you can kind of see the scaling. For magic and rare mobs. Um, okay. And the affix scaling. So this is like per affix, I guess. Or what? These are currently values for two stat scaling affixes. Oh, so this is just like life, specifically damage affix and the double life affix. Maybe? Okay. Whatever. They have this info here, so that's nice. If you're playing like hardcore or something, I don't know, could be useful. Typically made so you're awarded 1 skill point for each skill every 10 levels. This will be more fleshed out, no typo. System in the future. Goblin Surveyor is now forced to spawn 100% chance on the quest. Okay. This is nice because this thing was really annoying, I think. If this is what I remember, where you have to, it's like for the magic quest or something. Because, yeah, it was just like way harder to complete this quest, if I'm remembering correctly, than the other like weapon type quests and stuff. Ton of bug fixes. Should be good. Okay, website changes. Cool. Yeah, so a lot of stuff. Obviously, things can change and they can add and change stuff and all. And this isn't like a full breakdown of like number changes on like skills and things like that. Um, I don't know if they have the info anywhere. Mechanics, gear, item, bossing. Okay, so they don't have a ton of actual info on here still. So yeah, if you're looking for how to do stuff, like how to complete certain quests and things like that, it might be still a little bit confusing, but okay, so let's check. Um passive tree. Let's see. Okay. Do you get extra points from like quests and stuff? I don't actually know. Maybe they've changed some of the ways that you get points. I don't know. Uh but you go all the way up to level 100. So if you get one skill point per level, then that's like base 100 and then plus like whatever else you get. Yeah, there's probably like, I don't know. I feel like you can get a lot of the tree with 100 points though, so we'll see how that works. But yeah, so we're looking at melee. Yeah, so it's a lot of strength, right? All these small nodes. This is interesting. 10 points, strength 5. I forgot what some of this stuff does, actually, I'm not gonna lie. Let's see, mechanics. Almost a damage system. This is okay, there's nothing there. In game, no. Uh let's see how bossing, debuffs, and game enemies. Uh terms. Okay, that's not super useful. Not found. Good. Nice. I was just trying to remember what strength does. Cause I honestly don't remember. Um, shoot. Yeah, I don't remember. Not gonna lie, I don't remember. Maybe there's info on the homepage. Core features, weapons, bossing. Uh, Optimization boss cost more. Okay. Yeah. Uh, Mods maybe. No, they have skills. Maybe there's info here. Um, Here. No. Where do they have like? When did they release 1.0? I thought it was in summer. Maybe it wasn't. What the heck? Okay. Uh, yeah, I don't see info. I forgot what they do. Whatever. I think strength might be like life, and it might be like mana or something. I don't know. I don't think so though. I thought it was something else. Either way, there's like a variety of like 10, 5, 5, 5, 5. This is kind of weird. I'm assuming they're just, they'll add more stuff later because there's obviously like clusters missing. Like, uh, there could be something here. This is a little strange. Like, I guess I don't know. Maybe there's like some stat stacking mechanics and stuff that you could just take all these points for, and it's like not bad. But let's see, it's a little annoying that there's no like search function, right? I don't. Yeah, you can't just do that. But okay, so say we pass. Let's see. This is increased melee damage, attack speed, size, melee damage. Yeah, so you'd want to just come up here, grab this, probably damage, then a notable. Well, do you have to? So it doesn't let you. Do you have to get this first before? It says needs 4 linked passives. Okay, so you actually have to do like this kind of thing. That's kind of whack. And then you can choose one. Um, yeah, I mean this is the best one probably, but okay, that's interesting. kind of strange. So it doesn't. It's not quite what I thought it was because like this one says one link passive. I mean, yeah, because you're taking this whole freaking wheel just to get to the mastery. So you still have to path to the mastery, but then you also have to have like X amount of points, right? So like this one needs both. So you need to come, if you wanted to get this, you need to come here, here. Then you can click the mastery, right? Which obviously you wouldn't take that. Well, I mean, this buy price is lower. Might be useful. I don't know. But if you wanted to do like a yo-yo build, then it's just like kind of an illusion of choice. It's a little lame in that regard, but let's see. We'll tie it to the yo-yo, pulling it towards your yo-yo, taking 30% damage. Anytime you deal damage to anything. Okay. You guys can go through tiles. Yo-yo damage and speed is increased by 20%. So this one is kind of funky. Hitting with yo-yo will make the yo-yo grow until it explodes. Okay. That's a lot of damage. So if you go like a crit yo-yo build, um, you know, let's see. Okay, that's gonna be like minion stuff. Maybe there's gonna be like rage. What does rage even do? It's just a stacking mechanic that grants bonuses. One attack speed per rage. Just attack speed doesn't really matter for yo-yos though. Gain 1% chance for hits to apply twice. Okay, that's pretty good, especially with this, right? Because this one is hitting an enemy, right? Will make your yo-yo grow. So if you hit twice, it grows like twice as fast, right? So yeah, you can just pass like here. This is like rage. How many do you need for this? 2. Now the question is max rage. Probably just this, right? What is this? When at oh, damage reduction per rage stack is pretty good though. But then you want max rage. Probably don't really care about hold time, something like that. So this is like 23 points. Aegis. This is probably inefficient, but can you unclick these? Let me see. Yeah, you can't. Nice. Not that you would do that per se, but you could. Well, let's see. So here, Aegis charge on kill. That grants you max life, right? Uh, plus 3% max health. That could be pretty good. Just for some defense. Hoga's charge on kill is also really good. Yeah, so probably you don't care about bleed. Damage reduction is good. Let's see. Don't necessarily block chance defense. Uh, okay. Probably just something like that. 32 points. And then just come over here. Focus charge. Maybe. And then like this wave. For Aegis charge. Hmm. What does haste charge do again? I don't remember. Haste. Uh, am I on the passionates? No, I'm not on the passionates. Uh, haste. Charge speed bonus. Okay, you don't care about that then. What is this? Is kind of strange. Like, what else do you do? Like, the pathing is so awkward. I guess you could take this. Not range damage, but damage against distant enemies. What is this? Okay. Does that work with yo-yos? Probably. Like, 3, 2. It's kind of annoying. Like, do you really have to do something like this? Maybe. You can't? Is that not a linked passive? What counts as a linked passive? No shot. Really? That's kind of interesting. Yeah, I guess you just waste 1 point, huh? No, it doesn't count. What? What the heck? That's a lot of points. Maybe you just don't care about the mastery then. Um, yeah, so maybe something like this, right? Like, it's a little funky though. The utility ones are a little strange. I guess all the ones in the middle are utility. I mean, health potion cooldown's not bad, honestly. Uh, this one is good too. It's quite far away though. Here's the MF drop. Bro, how is Mage just not broken? You start next to all the good stuff. Summon damage. I don't know how. Okay. Okay, so these are very much minion nodes. So you're not probably not gonna take. Yeah, this is weird. It's like, okay, you want to play a whip build, right? Well, you just take that. Like, there's no real thought to it. Though, I mean, I guess there's thought as to what mastery you take, right? Which kind of helps. But it's just like, okay, whip damage, whip reach, whip speed, whip crit chance. So there's no like, okay, I want to go for more speed. I want to go for more crit chance. I want to go for like this and that. Which is fine. Also, there's no. It's kind of weird that they have a yo-yo cluster, but there's no like dedicated like other weapons. It's just yo-yos. What about like swords or like, you know? I mean, I guess those just fall under generic melee, but aren't yo-yos are yo-yos not melee weapons? Like, do they not get benefits from this? You know? They might not actually. They might not. But the thing is, like, this is generic, right? Like, this is just generic crit damage, and then like a little less crit chance, right? Kind of unfortunate that you don't get crit chance early though. Like the only crit chance I've seen is like there's a yo-yo crit somewhere, right? No, there's not. Okay, well there's crit over here and here and here. Um, but how do you like? But it's like why don't you like? There's no like this is kind of really good scaling, no? So it's like I mean there's 20% damage, speed, 20% speed, right? Range, duration, those are kind of whatever. I wonder if speed is like travel speed of the yo-yo, like, or is it the speed that the yo-yo like comes out? I don't know. But it's like I'm not sure how much power they want the tree to have. You know, I feel like I don't know. I have to know. Like, does the yo-yo count as a proj, as a projectile? There's no way. Or does it count as a melee hit? You know, so if it counts as a melee hit, like this is good to take, but if it doesn't, then why would you wouldn't take this? I mean, you might actually just because of the crit damage, 30% crit damage, and attack speed, because attack speed definitely. I mean, attack speed doesn't matter for yours actually, does it? I don't know. I need to check. I wish they had some kind of like glossary for their terms and stuff, so we can see like what counts as what, because they've changed a lot of stuff with this mod, so you can't necessarily go off base game. You know, let's see, passive totals, added strength, yeah, block chance 2x. Okay, so it kind of adds stuff up for you here a little bit. So you can see like your totals on the yo-yo speed, int, melee, uh, yeah, okay. And I wonder if these in the brackets are scalable. Like, why are they in brackets, you know? Like, this is a crit chance also. Or bracers, I guess, not brackets, but. Um, huh. Yeah, I mean, something like this, though, seems okay. Because you're getting damage from here, here, a little bit of damage here. It's a little awkward. Ideally, maybe you just, with your last 2 points, you take this extra crit node. It's a little awkward because you're passing through here, but that's honestly okay. I wonder, how long you like? Is it just as long as you're not moving? There's no like time. You don't have to be standing still for like a second, because then this could be okay. Because then like as long as you're not attacking like while you're walking or while you're midair or something, then you could get this bonus off. And I wonder if it snapshots. So like if you're standing still, you throw your yo-yo and then you move. Like where does the damage? You know, like does it calc the damage like when you throw your yo-yo? Or does it calc the damage when you hit? I don't know. Because yo-yos aren't projectiles, right? I'm assuming for projectiles, this works. right? Because you're standing still, you fire your arrow, the arrow's gone, and it has a damage value, right? Because the arrows have damage associated with them, whatnot, and then it hits the target. I'm assuming that's I don't know. It's a little funky, but yeah, I would if you're going for like a crit yo-yo build, that's probably what I would go with. It's a little funky though. Can you save points anywhere? You can't really, I don't think. 'Cause this looks so silly. Like really, like this? Can I not just like go through here and like? I mean, you can. It doesn't save any points or anything. Um, yeah. The utility stuff. I don't know. If you can freely respec your points, then stuff like util, like there's no reason to never like click this, right? When you're trying to buy stuff, you just like take off a point, buy, click this, right? But like otherwise, um, yeah. What I don't know. I don't know. It's really awkward to take these. I wonder if you get like multiple. Do you get like passive tree sets? Can you swap between them? You just go one full util, one actual damage. I don't know. But yeah, this setup looks kind of at first glance. This is like if I was going for a yo-yo build, I'd probably do this. Seems pretty nice. And then what about magic? Let's reset. Let's reset and have a look at magic on this side of the tree. Um, so let's see what you get. Okay, magic summon damage hybrid. Huh. This is okay. Okay. That's interesting. That makes it more valuable for mages to like path over to the summoner side if they want to grab some stuff, right? Uh, I wonder if you could do like a full whip only build without any minions. I feel like that'd be a waste though because you're tagging them already, so you probably run some minions. And see, this is Grimoire summon specifically, so there's like specific stuff for that. Ah, you see, this is kind of broken, right? Like you just, what if you just get a minion just for like this kind of stuff, like the minion aura? It would have to. I mean, minions are untargetable, right? They don't take damage. It's not like PoE where your minions can die. Like this is kind of crazy. Like if you do go 100 points, like this kind of stuff, you would just pick up a minion just for stuff like +5 damage. Um, you know, mana regen if you use mana, right? Like um that kind of things, right? Like might not be a bad idea. And there might be some other like aura, like minion aura stuff. Could be cool. Okay, so let's look here. Lightning damage. Yeah, so that's the other thing too. The melee side doesn't really care about LE damage. You'd have to like path all the way. Like, let's see what do they have. Cold. They have res. It just does melee just get no res? Like what? Why? What is this? Why is there no cluster here? Melee's just getting laughed at, bro. Charge speed. I mean, range looks strong just out the gate. Like, I feel like range is always good. Um, so let's see. So here's lightning. Fire res. So like, why does mage get? Why is mage just OP? What is this? I can decrease mana cost by 10%. Max mana, mana regen. So you get cold, you get fire, you get lightning res. There no lightning res on the trade. Um, yeah, like you literally start. Like what is like mage? You start with the best utility. You get skill duration utility. You get uh MF utility. You get um fishing utility, and you get this one too, move speed utility, like all in reasonable range of mage start. And then you also get res, proj. Why is there random proj and attack speed? I guess there's no distinction between cast speed and attack speed, right? In Terraria, so maybe that's fine. I wonder what would benefit from proj speed though, because there is some decent proj speed stuff. I just don't know when and why. Channeling. Channeling is like what, like last prism kind of a thing? Like I don't know, kind of strange. So I guess you're looking at. So if you want to do like, what is this? Mana pods, proj speed. Oh, why is it all? It's all proj speed. I guess it. Okay, I guess you gotta look at the masteries, huh? So this is like fire stuff. This is cold stuff. No mana stuff. Cold stuff is over here. Bro, it's going off the screen. I can't read it. I can't read it. Oh, poison is over here. Okay, good to know. Range damage. Yeah, Ranger looks like they have a lot of damage options, but obviously very few defense options. There's no, like, these are all damage clusters. Flat crit chance. Is that the only place you get flat crit? Can I zoom in? What is a flat crit? It looks like this purple star. Do we get flat crit anywhere else? I don't see it. What the heck? Well, that's kind of crazy though. I feel like you almost have to path. That's so annoying because if you're, say, a melee crit build, like, do you really have to just take all these pointless stuff just to get flat crit and crit chance? I mean, there's attack speed here, so but it's like you have to take this stuff, right? So you'd have to waste 2 points here. You can't path this way to get just flat crit, right? Now, the proj might not be bad because if, say, you're using like a melee weapon that has proj, then +2 chance for additional proj. I mean plus 5% chance. It's a really low chance, kind of bad, but like it's not a waste. But you can't path this way because you have to get the mastery, right? So if we were arranged, like um what counts as satisfying the mastery? Like this and this. This needs 2 linked nodes. Well, there's only 2 linked nodes, which means in order to get this mastery, you have to take the entire freaking cluster. Like, why isn't this? That's so wait. That's so weird. That's so weird. Is there even? Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't take this mastery anyway if you weren't ranged. But this flat crit node is so good. 5% flat crit, like base crit, I guess, is super good for a crit build. And I'm kind of focused on a crit build because last update crit was so strong because there was a lot of flat crit, there was a lot of crit increase, uh, and crit damage, crit chance, and crit damage, right? So it was really free, and you could do it on any class, and it was just insanely strong, right? Obviously, that's not the case now, but so, and same with if you want this like additional proj and flat crit for like magic as well, you have to path all the way over there for it. Can you apply poison with spells, or does it only work? I think you can. I don't see why not. That might be kind of nutty though. Like, what if you do like a poison, like high proj uh setup? Like you would come like, I mean, let's just assume you're taking this, right? Like we don't have to edit now. Let's go away. Let's see. What? Okay. Like maybe you go, maybe you're doing like, maybe they have spark, right? If you go like a poison spark build, or maybe you use like lightning, like this as like a way to pro live. Uh, Probably attack speed, right? I don't know. It depends on if you're using a skill or not, right? Because skill cooldown. Um, oh, you need two for this. Okay. See, I mean, this is kind of annoying though, no? Because it's like, I feel like there's a little bit of illusion of choice with this tree. It's not quite as interesting as it might look at first glance because of the way that this mastery system works and the way that it's laid out, right? Like it'd be different if they were connected. Like if this was connected, okay, well then you have this. You can connect it in multiple ways, right? Or like this is connected, then you can come this way, maybe grab this node too. Or well, I guess you can't because yeah. Or like I think they need more connections. Like this needs to be connected, right? You know, like um like you can't have stuff like this. It's just kind of lame. Like a few of them are okay. And like this is kind of weird too, like the charges, for example, right? It's like, okay, you take this, 10% chance gain. Well, you have to take this. I mean, it's 3 damage per wood. Like, do these do anything without this? I don't know. And then, well, you're gonna take this because it gives you more, like one more max charge. So it's not like there's no choice there. But yeah, okay. Anyway, so maybe you've got some like proj lightning skill that does like something like that. Uh, you could like probably this keeps popping up. What the heck? Hide panel. Please stop. Why does it keep popping out? Max mana if you need to. Probably, bro. I can't. Probably mana skill reduction. And then you can come here for poison stuff, right? But this is range projectile. So actually you can't. You can't even do magic proj. That's kind of cringe. What does this do? Well, there is prolip. Um, Range projectiles. Is that ones do more damage, take rate faster, longer? Okay, well, there goes that. Okay. Whatever. I mean, you'd probably still do that pathing, right? If you're going for some kind of lightning like spell build. Let's see. This requires 4. You need to take all of them, dude. What does this do though? Oh, well, okay. Okay. Yeah, you just take 4 then. This thing is so broken. This is also good too if you're going a skill build. Um, this is whatever. I think you do that. Um, yeah, if you're like, how do you not just like this is just like how do you like like this is flat. This is lightning damage multiplier. Additional chance to inflict enemy with shock. Like, how do you not just play a lightning skill? You know what I mean? Like with this kind of stuff. There's no good fire nodes or cold nodes. Like these are just res and like a little bit of like what? Am I dumb? Um yeah, and then you go like this way. Uh Probably up here. This I guess it depends on the skill. Like if you need mana regen versus decreased cost, but I'm assuming cost is gonna be better. Oh, but of course you need all three to freaking take the mastery. See, this is silly. Like it's like there's no choice, right? Like if you want the mastery, which you do because it's like 30% max mana, 1% damage per max mana. Like if you're stacking mana, like this is like they're OP, right? Like you know, uh, what does this mean? Like 1% less damage? Eh? I don't know. Interesting one. I mean, yeah, you just go mana scaling then, and then you so it's like that's kind of silly. Yeah, that's crazy though. But it's like okay, but you have to take okay, just two there. Fair. Okay. But there's only 2 points that link to it. It's like what is this? How the what the heck? Okay, you go here, 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 right? And then you're 26 points. But it's like there's no connection here, so it's like even though this would be a nice path through, potentially, you can't. There's no option. Um, so you have to go like this. You want to get to the crit nodes. Does it matter if you go this way? This is just more points, right? So then this is just a waste of points. Range damage, range damage. Attack speed is good. Extra prod is good. Flat crit chance is good. This doesn't matter. You don't need it. But like, yeah, like here's your lightning crit build. You know what I mean? And actually, you have a lot of points left, so I don't know. You could just take all the res nodes. Oh, I didn't take this. What the heck? Yeah, you want these for sure. Uh, Costing 50% of original attacks damage. What does that mean? Why does it say costing? Like mana cost? Value of 50%? I don't know. But yeah, there's your like, and then you just take like MF, right? For like your last 3 points or something. And then it's like there's your build. But it's like there's no variety like with this. Like how do you like okay, sure you could maybe not go here because it's still a little confusing. Like does this just says additional prod, right? So that should work on any proj. So it doesn't say range projectile because some of these specify range, but then you're wasting 2 points here. It's kind of cringe, but these points are all really good because you get flat crit, you get chance for additional proj, you get increased crit and attack speed. Like these are nice. And it's like, what else do you take anyway? Like, do you really come for like res? You're not dealing cold damage, you don't care. So you would only care about the res, which is really awkward to access anyway because you'd have to waste a point here because you can't go this way, so you'd have to waste a point here just to collect these two fire res nodes, and here too. I guess you could path this way, but it's still like that's like I guess it's a little bit better, but I don't know. And if you come over here and then grab the cold res one, um, yeah, I mean, if you get more than if you're assuming more points, then obviously you could make some of this other stuff, right? Like this, so you use a skill and get the 8% overheal, um, type thing. And if you're using a skill, obviously, then you're gonna want some of the skill stuff, right? So reduce cooldown, uh, more damage, cooldown, duration, potentially, right? Uh, you can also just go and collect all these like increased damage nodes. Yeah, like here too. I don't know what this does. You don't care about the mastery, but okay. But yeah, I mean, you could take like magic summon damage, magic summon damage. Yeah, again, I don't remember what int, strength, and dex do. Not gonna lie. What about range? Let's check range. I feel like range is a little tough. Both magic and range don't look like they have like summoner has some defensive options with like you know you get like I wonder if summons count as allies. Probably not because they don't take damage. But you have like some utility with your summons, right? Um, but how do you actually how do you get defense? I don't know. Uh, oh shoot, that's insane. Yeah, range is gonna be insane for damage. By the way, like uh, I mean you have to take these, right? There's no discussion. Um, wait, is that a mistake? That might be the mistake that we're talking about. There's your CC and damage, just more damage. Um, yeah, and then you can come here. Guess you have to come all the way over here, right? Or do you? Yeah, you do. Okay, well, um, silly, but okay. Uh, probably grab this for rush speed. Maybe you don't need that. Uh, you're doing a bullet build because this freaking return thing is disgusting. Uh, yeah, and then you could honestly, if you're with how many prods you're shooting and like all the return and stuff and the hits you get, you could just do poison, and you'd probably just get like a ton of damage. Like, okay, you kind of have. Like you just do that, and then you get damage scaling with your poison and stuff. You don't even need to take this, and that's only 38 points. And then you can do stuff like uh, you take the movement speed, jump height, and I mean out of combat move speed if you want to be fast around your maps and stuff, or perma feather falling if you don't have like wings or whatever. You might as well take that because why not? And then what you could also do is yeah, just go for like Aegis charges or whatever for like more health, right? And then it's like you have a little bit of defense. This path thing looks so dumb though. But I'm assuming you would want Dex more than like this, right? Probably don't need the int. I don't know what it does, but the fact that you have to like connect it like this, can you? Oh, I wonder if you can do this. I wonder if you can. Then that's kind of nice, but it's also like what, like why? You should be able to. What you should be able to do is should be able to take the mastery point, but not allocate it. Maybe so that you can do like a path through, and not do stupid stuff like this, like having to allocate and then go back and unallocate. If you can even do that, I don't know if you can. Not that you would necessarily want to, because these are good for range, right? Increase range damage, crit chance. Like that's good. You don't necessarily care about. I mean, I guess you could drop this. Oh no, you can't because it's the allocated node. Yeah, so then you're stuck doing stupid stuff like this, right? I guess you could turn off. You could do this though. No, you can't. Yeah, because you need a whatever. You need 3 points allocated. Ah, yeah. So that would be like your ranger tree, I guess. The guess you can take placement. You drop some of this and take QL if you want. But again, it's like, why is there no cluster here? Or like something, there could be like something here. I don't know. There could be stuff coming off the tree too to add. I'm sure they'll add more stuff in the future, granted. But like this is like what? Especially when you compare that to like, look, like Mage at least has like this little thing. It's got like, feels like it has a little bit more going on, and Summoner too, kind of. I don't know. There's a lot of empty space here that's like just makes it awkward to path through. But I mean, it's cool that they put out the planner and everything, and it's like official on their website and everything like that. It is cool. I just want some clarification on a few of these things, right? Like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what some of this stuff is a little unclear, and like some of the decisions and stuff. I'd be curious to see what people are talking about. But, uh, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if there's like discussion and stuff on the Discord or whatever. Maybe they'll make some changes and things. Yeah. Yeah, it seems like people are talking about stuff on the Discord. Okay. Well, yeah, I mean, hopefully people, provide their feedback and stuff, and maybe they make some adjustments and things because I really do think that the tree could use a little bit more flexibility. And a little, like even if they just add some connections here and there, right? Like, I don't know, like, you know, they could connect stuff here, like that. I don't know. I feel like they should do stuff, especially because like these some of these masteries are like a little bit constraining, right? Because it's like, oh, you want to take this mastery? Well, guess what? You got to take all three of these points instead of oh, just path to the mastery, or oh, just take a notable in the cluster, right? Which is how PoE does it. I mean, granted, some of the PoE clusters are like that, but generally, almost always, they have some option about pathing, and there's usually an optimal way to do it. That's fine. But just so there's not a complete like lack of decision making in like your pathing and stuff, right? Because it's like, I mean, I'm sure like you know, if you're like level 100, right, and you get like 1 point per level, and you get 100 points, well, okay, now it doesn't even matter because this tree's not that big, so you can kind of go wherever you want and pick up all the nodes you want, and like all these like awkward pathing and stuff, like points don't matter as much. So you don't even need to min max really because like your tree pathing and stuff. So which I think is a little bit of a shame because I think it's kind of fun to do that, right? But it's like really like why do I have to take faster jump speed? I just care about moves. Why can't I take this and this? You know, I have a notable here. I can grab this. I get it's like a power balance thing, right? They don't want you to be able to just like rush and grab like one, two, three, and then grab this. But it's just like, okay, but this one's a notable. Just make it so that you have to grab the notable. So if you want to rush it, then you're clicking this, right? Granted, that comes with other things too, because then you always have to take the notable, right? But what if you just want the mastery? Well, right now you always have to take it anyway. So I don't really, I don't know. It's a little bit strange. Or just reduce the count. Like make this two instead of and make this one. Like they can keep the system where it's like, okay, you have to have X amount of connected, but just don't make this two. And this just make this two and not three or something. No, it has to be. I mean, it's only two right now, but yeah, don't make this two. You know, they just need to like reduce them, right? Like, I don't know, or maybe the masteries are more intended for like late game, so they do want you to spend all those points. It's a way of like balancing it, but I feel like that's kind of lame. I don't know, whatever. It's cool though. That's just kind of like my first reactions a little bit. There's a lot of cool stuff you can do. I think definitely some interesting builds, but it definitely feels a little bit more restrictive because you don't have as easy access to everything, and then the stuff you do have access to is very much like, okay, you're doing this, like you're going ranged, okay, you're clicking these nodes, like you have to. That means you're indexing into crits, you're indexing into like proj speed and proj count and all this, right? And it's like, okay, yeah, you're probably gonna do that because that's probably the best thing to do anyway. But doesn't mean there can't be other like niche options, you know? Like this. Like maybe someone wants to build like a super tanky range character. They just want to stand there and like blast something, with like huge damage explosion or whatever. So they just index, but then they don't want to die, right? So or maybe they're like doing a sniper build with like a sniper rifle and they just want to make it do as much damage in one hit as possible. And it's like, yeah, how do you do that? And there's not really options for that, right? There's a couple nodes and stuff, and I guess you scale crit and just percent damage and like, but then there's like a lot of these masteries are like, okay, deal more proj, right? I mean, this one, I guess, right? Like this one is kind of strange. Projectiles are 40% stronger and bigger. I mean, yeah, you'd probably take that. So I mean, there's some options, but it's like, okay, but to get to that, I still have to take proj speed, you know. Well, what if I don't want proj speed? Like I can't untake this. I can't not take this, you know. Um right? Same with stuff like this, right? Like why don't just connect this or move the notable back here. I mean, I guess you can't do that because presumably there's no way to generate charges beyond this. So it would be a little bit silly. But I don't know. I mean, you know what I mean? Or connect it to here. And then you can just grab this and this. You don't have to grab this. But then again, I don't know how these charges work. So maybe the charges don't do anything unless you take this node, which is arguably even worse because then it's like, okay, well, that means you're forced to invest 2 points and it just does nothing until you get this, which gives you the proj speed per charge, right? And then it's like, okay, your proj speed per charge, but like who cares about proj speed? Like, does that matter? Maybe it does. It does for this build if you're going return proj, right? Because presumably the proj return, you know, is impacted by proj speed, which means the faster your proj speed, the faster it returns, and the more damage you're doing because stuff is traveling faster and you're hitting more often, right? So yeah. Um, Personally, I'm probably gonna start either melee or magic, maybe. Range just seems kind of silly though. Other than the fact that you get no defense. Um, is there a death penalty in this mod? I can't remember. Like XP penalty for dying. Because that could be important. That could be like an incentive to actually care about your defense. But yeah, I might go with the yo-yo angle. Melee yo-yo build. If defense matters. Which before like you could build it basically I was doing like swords and I built crit and also tank, so I could just stand there and just like swing my sword and hit the boss a bunch of times and I would just like kill them really quickly because I had really high crit chance and attack speed and like I could just face tank a little bit, right? With my defense. And it was pretty strong. You know, you just destroy bosses and like yeah, you just one shot small trash mobs and stuff like really easily. Obviously, you're not going to be as fast as something like a ranger, but you're not going to die, right? Um, and I know the domains have attempts, right? I guess that is the thing, right? You can only die so many times, right, before you fail, I believe, if I remember correctly. So there's that. Uh, so I guess that is an incentive not to die, but yeah. So I'll probably start melee, but I don't know. I'll look at it. I'll see what they change, and probably come back with a what's it called? Kind of a league start idea, maybe. But I'll probably have to look at some of the other stuff, like some of those conversion charts and various things, just to see kind of like where monsters are at, what actually is going to do damage to you, how do you scale your damage, and that kind of thing. But yeah, I mean, I know this is just kind of a start, right? Because you've really like, I mean, they've got some cool stuff, but like, okay, one bleed cluster, one poison cluster, you know, yeah, so if you want to do that, well, you know where you're going on the tree. You know what you're doing. It's not like there's not much thought into it, which means that you know you don't really feel smart for making the build and having it do well because it's like okay, well, anyone who wants to do that is just gonna do the same exact thing. It's like obvious. There's no real decision making, right? Um, it's more of just like okay, what class do I pick? And then what weapon slash skill do I want to use? And then from there, it's like all your decisions are made for you, right? Like, okay, you're playing with a gun. Well, you're just gonna click all the bullet nodes and the stuff that makes bullets OP, and then it's like, you know, that's about it. There's no like real interesting choices there within that specific archetype, right? And I know they'll probably expand on that much later, but that's just kind of the initial. So hopefully their mind is like in that place where they're thinking about, okay, you know, we've got this as like a framework. We're gonna expand it. We're gonna improve it. We're gonna make it less clunky, less you know, kind of one track, more flexible, more insert more decision making into the whole thing. Because that's really all the ARPGs are, right? They're just a series of decisions that you make, and then you test whether or not you made the right decisions based on the your gameplay, right? Your um, and that's basically at the core. That's what it is, right? And you're rewarded for making good decisions by getting loot, basically, right? Whether it's currency or actual items and stuff. Um, and of course, like the speed at which you clear and get the loot is also part of that decision making, and you know the penalties you get for dying or not dying or all this. Those are all like results of your decision making, right? Um, so that's really what ARPGs are about. So I hope they keep that in mind and make sure that there's actually meaningful decisions to be made. And yeah, so yeah, that's kind of it. I think we looked at everything so far. They might post more stuff because there's still time, right? I mean, um, yeah, there's still time. So I'm gonna end it there. Uh, and yeah, probably again come back with some more ideas later on like a league start kind of a thing. So yeah, that's about it. Just kind of wanted to go over that and think about it and just air my thoughts really more than anything. It's kind of why I do this, not really for any other reason, but yeah. Peace.